Hi, I was recently at the Option Symposium held in Mumbai in 2024. During that event, there were a lot of speakers who came out with really good strategies. In this video, I will cover one such strategy covered by a very famous YouTube personality called Pushkar Thakur. So let's first try to understand the strategy that he covered during that event. Based on that, we will then build that strategy, and after building, we will backtest the strategy to see how it performed historically. So I have a image of that I clicked when he was presenting the strategy. Now, in this strategy, we can see a couple of data points, and we are going to look at the thesis and the framework of how the strategy works. Now, in here, we are basically looking at the Nifty 50 as our index, and we are looking at a 1 day time frame. So the candle time frame will be 1 day, and we are looking at two different super trends that we are overlaying onto this particular index. Because the screenshot may not be very easy to look at, I have plotted this entire thing on the Tradetron chart. Now in here, we are basically going to look at the 10-3 super trend as our slow moving super trend, and we will look at the 22 super trend as our fast moving super trend. Now the idea out here is we are supposed to look on a daily basis what is the direction of the trend. So if we are finding a situation when our slow moving super trend and the fast moving super trend are in the same direction, which means both are in the same color, which you can see happening at this point, in that case we are basically going to go long in that particular instrument on the future segment. So if both of them are in green color, we are going to go long. This basically indicates that our slow and fast moving super trend is concurrent, giving a signal in the same direction. And we will hold this trade until basically both these super trend colors turn to the opposite color, which is red. So in this case, once the color changes to basically a red color, we will basically hold this trade. And once the color changes to red, we will go short. So this would be a place where we would be a long, and this would be a place where we would be short. So that is the whole thesis. So the idea is both the super trends have to be indicating the same color. Now our bias out here will change when both these super trends have a different color. So to give you an example, at this point we are seeing that the super trend, which is the fast moving super trend, is indicating a short, but the slow moving super trend is indicating a long. Now in this case, since both of them are showing opposite colors, which means one is more than the price and the other is less than a price, in that case we will basically square off from our trade, and we will not have any open position. Another thing that he mentioned was that Supertrend is able to capture a long direction very well, but not a short direction. So for that, what we are going to do is that for every long trade, we will have double the quantity. But for every short trade, we will have only single quantity. So let's say if we are looking at a long trade, then we are going with two lots. If we are going for a short trade, then we are shorting with only one lot. So that is the whole logic that we are trying to implement out here. So now let's go at the strategy and try to build the same strategy on Tradetron and see how the strategy is supposed to be built. So I've gone to my strategies, and as usual, I have built this strategy. You need not build it with me. I have shared the same link in the description. You can just have a look at it, duplicate it, test it with other numbers. Maybe you get some better performing strategies from this. So in here, we will basically have two sets, one for our long trades and one for our short trades. Now, our logic that we want to implement out here is basically for the long trade. My objective is that both these super trend colors should be green. Now, when is the color of super trend becoming green? The color of super trend becomes green only when the super trend level is below the price. So let's assume if this is the price, my super trend has to be here. Only if super trend is here and price is more than the super trend level will the super trend be green. So for that, I have my first two conditions that I have added. So my condition is I'll just increase the size. Yeah, my condition is that super trend of 10-2 on a daily candle. So yeah, super trend of 10-2 on a daily candle of Nifty 50 spot will have to be less than the close. So basically, if my close is here, super trend is here, which means super trend is green as per 22. In that case, I will be this condition will be satisfied. I'm doing the exact same thing for my second super trend. So I'm now looking at super trend 10.3. If my super trend 10.3 is at this point and the price is at this point, in that case, I am basically getting a confirmation that both of my super trends are basically below the current price of the Nifty 50 instrument spot. So that is the logic that I'm getting. Now, this is another thing that I have added to based on my discretion, is that if I do this based on the candle of yesterday, so if at this point, let's say if today I am checking the candle for yesterday, I immediately at 9:15 I will get a trigger of an entry signal. Now I wouldn't personally want to take a trigger immediately at 9:15 because there's a lot of volatility in the market. To avoid any such entry at immediately 9:15, I will basically have a time condition that if time is more than 10, then I will take a trade. Again, you can change this time condition and try different numbers and see what works best for you. Now, when this kind of a situation happens, I'm basically going to go long. So my long will be in two lots in the current month futures. So this will make sure that, let's say if a situation like this happens, where let's say if it is the November if it's the November month, and after the November month I've taken my trade, and after the November expiry I basically see that that the color is yet that both the super trends are yet concurrent and in the green color. In December, it will basically close my November expiry futures trade and open a new futures trade in my December expiry. So this is the thought process. Now I will go to the stop loss conditions or the exit conditions. Now exit conditions out here are basically based on any one super trend basically changing color. Now in here I am basically looking at the same thing. So super trend 22 is basically more than my close. So in here, if I look at this particular example, um, at this point, we can see that my close value, I'll just scroll up. Yeah. So at this point, you can see that my close value was basically 19,751. But my super trend 10-2 was basically 19,494. So close to 19,500. And my super trend 10-3 was around 19,900, which means price was here. One super trend was up and the other super trend was down, which is something that I don't want. It has to be on the same color, only then I will be in my trade. So for that, I have my condition, which is an AND condition, that if super trend 22 is more than the close, point number one, and if super trend and if the close is more than the super trend 10.3, which is my exit condition. So in such a situation, I would exit both the long trades that I took. Now I am doing the exact same thing for my short trade. So in my short trade, I am basically looking at a situation which would be something like this. So once both the super trends are in red color zone, in that case, I will want to take a short. So for my red color super trend to happen, I will basically want that the price is below and both the super trends are on top. So for that, I have added my same conditions, which is that if super trend 22 is more than my close of the previous day. And everything is basically being checked in the -1 candle. Now again, I am doing the same thing. If super trend 10.3 is more than the close on the daily basis, in that case, I am basically triggering my trade. Again, my trade should only happen after 10 o'clock, which is another addition that I have put. Now, when this kind of a situation happens, I'm going for a sell trade, which is basically a current month futures in one lot. So when selling, we are looking at only one lot. When buying, we are looking at two lots. So quantity is double. This is the whole logic that we are doing. Now, for my exit condition. Now, exit for a short will basically be squared off out here. So when a situation happens, when let's say the colors are different. By now you should have got the point that if let's say my close is more than my super trend 22, and if my super trend 10.3 is basically more than my close, so both the super trends are on different sides of the close value. In that case, I am squaring off my strategy. So that is squaring off my trade. So that is pretty much the strategy I have built. Finally, I have added one universal exit condition. Universal exit condition is that if today is the current month expiry, in that case, after 10 o'clock, I am basically squaring off my strategy. And again, I have added a reactivation out here of 6 hours. So after 10 o'clock, once my super trend based strategy takes an exit from the trades, I will not be in the market. I'll only begin my trading on the next day in which I will be taking the next month's expiry for that particular instrument. There's no other stop loss, no other trailing stop loss that's happening out here. And we will now have a look at the backtest report for this particular strategy. So I'll go to the backtest, and in here we can see the backtest report for this particular strategy. So we can see that I've backtested this since January 2020, by the way, so that we can get a clear view of how this is performing. Now, one thing to note out here is that on my 29th December, basically after the December expiry, it took a trade in my Jan expiry, and since the Jan expiry hasn't happened yet, it is basically showing as an open trade, which is why you're seeing such a huge negative number out here. So let's look at the backtest report that is generated for this thing. And yeah, so once we open the report, you will see that this strategy is basically having a fairly good P&L curve, which means it is able to capture my directional trend very well. With that said, do note that since this is a futures based strategy, the margin out here for the two lots would be anything close to around 4.5 to 5 lakhs. So if you are not if you are in for something like this kind of a capital, only then look at running the strategy live in your account. Else it would make sense to run the strategy on something like an option. So you could do like a 30 delta option and a 60 delta option, which would basically be a bull call spread or a bear put spread based on your directional bias. So that you could of course do and test as needed. Also, some very important and unique statistics that you would see out here. Now, given that it is a strategy based on an indicator on a daily time frame, you will see that even though the trading days that I have backtested in is close to around 1,000, the number of days during which the trades happened is very small. You'll also see that my win rate out here is very low. Now, something very interesting out here is that the average profit on a profitable day is close to around 8,500, but on a loss-making day, the average loss would basically be close to 5,200. So this 3,000, 2,500, or 3,000 extra that we are making based on this particular trading strategy is able to offset this low win rate that we have, which is why we are seeing a extra alpha. And also the number of trades that are happening out here is very low. So you are hardly taking around 2, 5, 10 or so trades in an entire month. So the number of trades are low, but it is again a high risk strategy, which we can understand from this max drawdown. So close to 48% of max drawdown is being triggered out here. Given that it's a futures based strategy. So with that, as usual, I have added this strategy in the description. If you have any other suggestions on strategies we should cover in future videos, feel free to drop it in the comments. Also, a huge shout out to Pushkar Thakur. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description. You can feel free to have a look at the same channel as well. Thank you very much. Bye.